Alrighty guys, so it's not clay today, but I wanted to make at least one pair of my blue flowers for a pair of earrings. And this is something I have never ever shown before. I was actually going to do a paid tutorial on these a long time ago. I just never have. I just hate writing. So I guess we're going to consider this a free tutorial today. So the color I'm using is aqua blue. Sorry about the noise from the concentrator. Unfortunately, I can't help the noise. The bigger one is a lot noisier than my other one. The other one you couldn't hear. Not so much on this one. So I just want to make a really thin coat of blue here. This is going to be a layered bead. I'm going to be putting a whole bunch of layers in between a bunch of elements. So this is my first layer. And again, it's an aqua blue. And I need thin white. That's not the white I want. Alright, that'll work, I think. Or stringer, which is just a thin rod. Let me see if I can find one. There we go. Okay, so there's a thin rod of white. Okay, so on top of the aqua blue, we're doing some filigrano here. And this is basically a white that is encased in a transparent aqua blue and then encased in clear. Scummy on the ends here, so let me put that in there before it cracks. Okay, now we've got a nice clean edge. Gonna wrap the aqua with this one way. I'm going to come across and wrap it that way. We're going to melt all that in. Since it's already encased in a clear, I'm just going to do a thin coat of clear over that. And this is what adds depth to the bead. Here, we're going to gram some, kind of like a flower vine here. A thin flower vine is what I'm looking for. So this is just some green with a bunch of black stripes in it, and then it's got a little more transparent green over it. This is just going to give us some vines around the flower. Don't need a whole lot of those. Again, we're going to melt that in. encase that all in clear. Make sure you keep your bead out of the flame, because if you don't, you will end up smearing all your green vines. Okay, and then we're going to press this and see where we're at size-wise. I like the middle press normally. I don't know if I've got this set up to where you can see it or not. Probably not. We'll do that really quick. Okay, so that's about the perfect size that we need. And as you can see, the bead release is already broken. So now we just got to be careful about pressing so we don't break it into the bead, or the bead getting stuck in here, which is very common. Okay, now we're going to add some flowers here. I usually do 2 flowers. I'll do two layers, I think, on each one. So all we're doing is doing 5 dots of the white. Trying to make it in a circle here. And I'm going to do one more. And then we're going to get some light aqua instead of using the dark. Gotta find it. And that's going to be the top of our flowers. So we're going to melt these down a bit. And we're going to look at the size of our petals. We want them pretty much to be all even. So we're just going to add a little more to that one. And that one. Okay. So we're going to melt all those down. Okay, and then we're going to add the light aqua on top. Sometimes it's hard using the stringers for the top, because you want it to cover that whole dot. This in, and then we're going to press it one more time. Okay. And now we're going to add one more layer, but on this one we're just going to make 3 petals. there. Down. Alright, so now we're going to melt all of it down. Now we're going to make sure we get the nice shape that we need. Okay. Now we're going to take this thing off, and it's a little hot, so that's why I'm kind of patting it to make sure I'm not about to burn myself. And we are just going to take a metal pokey thing. Going to heat up each flower, and we're going to poke right in the center. I don't know if you're able to see that or not. This is going to just give a little bit of form to the flower, make it a little more 3D. I'm going to do that on all four. Okay. And now we created a nice little pocket. We're going to take some wonderful clear, and we're just going to drop it right over that hole, and that's going to give us a little air bubble right there in the center. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and add a little bit of clear right here, because I don't want my bead to have such a curve. Now we're just kind of filling that up. A lot of times you can add like can't add rhinestone, but you can add like a cubic zirconia right in the middle of there, and it makes it extremely pretty. But I think we're pretty good with this one. So far, this one was a really good bead to make. I didn't have any issues. Just gonna bring a little bit down on this end. Kind of round that out. Okay, and then I'm gonna try and show you what it looks like really quick. I don't have anything white. Oh, I do. Okay, and of course it's got to cool and sit in the kiln for a while. But they're just little abstract flowers, and you'll see the vines and everything come out when it comes out of the kiln. Go ahead and do this before it cracks on us. Okay, so now I'm just basically trying to get rid of the chill marks from pressing it in there, so that we have a really nice smooth surface here. that's one. So go ahead and make one more. Yeah, hopefully this one comes out as easy as the other one. Okay, this one's kind of bent. I don't like bent ones. I've got tons of beads from my jewelry, but I don't really have any focal beads to go with it. So after this one, I will probably make another video. Excuse me. And try and make something organic. You know, kind of boho style. Okay, we can go a little more on this. So what cool shapes are people interested in beads, whether they're clay or glass? Put them in the comments. If you have a shape that seems to sell well for you. I always use presses, but I really would like to do more organic shapes where I'm not having to use a press all the time. And I mean, I have a million shapes. There's so many out there. Bracelets. I don't like round beads for bracelets. I think it fits funny on the wrist. So I usually do lentils, something that's going to lay flat. Or, believe it or not, I will use like a disc bead, like Kishi beads and stuff like that. They're just not as bulky. So I'm probably going to try that on the next bead that I make. Okay, so we're going to have to put a little more clear on this because we're a little too small to try and fit any flowers on there. Going to put a dash in the center mostly, just to widen this part up. Okay, that should be good. those came out, but it'll do. Are a little teeny, so I'm just going to go add a little more onto those two right there. Okay. So out of 10 that I make of these, maybe 6 or 7 are good. If the flowers are off center, or if they don't look like a flower, they're bunched up too much, and I usually don't sell them or put them in jewelry. So, I mean, the perfect space you want is pretty much like this. Sometimes you get them where they're squished. Like this should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but this looks like 4, and a 5th one way where it shouldn't be. So let me just show you a quick way you can fix that. If your flowers come off, is you just grab that one that's giving you the problem, and you can just pull it down a little bit. Once you put the glass on top again, then usually it works out. There are some times when it doesn't. One more. So after second week of October, I will probably have my beads for sale. It's like I save them all for one show, and I used to do a few shows a year, but I've cut down so much because they're just so time consuming. But you know, you start building up a whole lot of inventory, and then you really don't have to make anything for a while. And that's kind of where I think I'm at. So now everything that I make, I can just throw out there for sale. So I'll do both. I'll sell beads and I'll sell jewelry. And a few odds and ends. So we just gotta wait until this show finishes, and I should start taking pictures of everything now though and getting them pretty much ready. Alright, so this one, let's get it back into the shape we want. Okay, so I definitely like these flowers better than that first one. This one's hanging over the edge, but it doesn't matter. Try and get them on top, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. So now we're just making that air pocket in the center, and that also helps to bring that flower in. Although that one's on the edge, that one's going to be interesting. Okay, course we're gonna add that center clear, but I'm gonna get rid of some of this, so watch this. Trying to get some of that release off because I want this to stick to this. I don't know if it's gonna do it. The reason is I want a really fine point. Okay, and that way I can shove that glass right in the center. Seals it really nice. Alright, so the final melting and we will be done. I'm gonna go step out of this room for a minute because it's like 100 and something degrees outside. I do have my air running, but there's a couple thousand degrees all around me. So it would probably be smart to just go grab a glass of water. In the summer when I use the torch, I get these little things that go around your neck. They're really cool. They got those little expandable bubbles in there. So when we used to do shows in the summer, you just leave them in the ice chest and they fill up and they expand. And then you just wrap them around your neck when you work. Because we used to do a lot of demos. I say we, like I'm talking in the third person, me, but I do have people in my booth. I'll have family member, and sometimes I've had other lamp workers do shows with me. So, yeah, we would just cover our neck with cold water, and it seemed to keep us cool. Now I can't be bothered to bring this because, like at the show in October, I used to bring my torch, but it's like I can't concentrate on my customers when I'm doing a demo, and sometimes they can get really busy, so you don't want to stop mid-bead to help everybody. If I get an extra person this year, like I don't know, my daughter I don't know if she's going to be working, but if I can get somebody to help so that we have like 3 or 4 people in the booth, then I can go ahead and make beads. But with 2 people I can't. So just wanted to show you it. This is the final flower. So we're going to see what that looks like in the end. And I hope you like that, and I'll show you what those look like when we are all done. So you guys have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.